Hello again, everybody. David Clary along with Lee Wexler, Oliver Poggle, and Preston Fetters. We are live here in Johnson City, getting ready for the third game of this tournament, the Tribe Classic, as the Wildcats are taking on the Jefferson County Patriots. I'm going to hand the microphone over to Lee Wexler, and he's got the starting lineups for the ball game.
The starting lineup, David, as I open my book and get set here in the metal bleachers here at TVA Cardinal Park. For Oak Ridge, who appears to be the home team here, leading off in center field, Warren East. In right field, batting second, Brooks Poteet. Batting third, the DH, Mikey Teasley. Batting fourth at third base, Joseph Webb. Batting fifth in left field, Carson Fagan. Batting sixth at first base, Cam Welch. Batting seventh at shortstop, Noah Wood. Batting eighth at second base, Whit Reniger. And batting ninth and catching, Kipton Fagan. Pitching for Oak Ridge today is Jonah Wolf. Quickly, the starting lineup for Jefferson County. Batting first in left field, Sean Young. Batting second and pitching is Drew Moulter. Batting third at short is Caleb Franklin. Batting fourth in center field, Brody Carr. Batting fifth at first base, Jackson Ormonde. We might have to work on that. Batting sixth, the DH, Nate Nichols. Batting seventh at third base, Isaiah Kirk. Batting eighth at second, Amos Rosser. And batting ninth and catching is Jackson Felker. And playing right field and being DH'd for is Henry Ballinger.
Thanks a lot, Lee. We're about to get set here. The two teams have warmed up. The Wildcat hurler, Jonah Wolf, has thrown his warm-up tosses to Kipton Fagan, and we are about to have baseball from Johnson City. The Wildcats had a rough night last night, falling twice. Once in extra innings to Jefferson County and then to Elder, Ohio. Taking on the Jefferson County Patriots for the second time this year. And Jonas Wolf, his first pitch has hit the left field, and it's going to be caught out in left field. Nice ball was hit hard, but right to the left fielder, and he made the play.
Yeah, first pitch, 10 o'clock on the dot, and an absolute screamer to left field. Carson Fagan, good thing he was ready. That ball was a shot. One pitch went out for the young Jonah Wolf.
Drew Mulder is the batter, facing the right-handed throwing junior, Jonah Wolf. Jonah played second base last night. His first pitch is outside the ball to Kipton Fagan, who is the catcher today, the third catcher used in the last couple days. And you pointed out something to me, and I didn't talk to Coach Free before the game. That ball is hit to center field. Warren East back on it, and he should make the catch, and he does for out number 2. Warren East is in center field. Carson Fagan is in left. The right fielder, Brooks Poteet. The first baseman looks like Cheeto. That would be Camden Welch. The second baseman for the Wildcats for Oak Ridge is that Whit Reniger. As the pitch comes in from Jonah, it's hitting the air, foul territory, coming back this way, off the top of the roof. It's rolling backwards, and where will it go? It's gone, as that's strike one. The third baseman is Mikey Teasley. The shortstop, is that Jaden Jefferson or Noah Wood? Noah Wood. As the pitch comes in, hit foul back to the screen. Oliver Poggle is our technical person today. Our camera guys are Preston Fetters, and Preston Fetters. That's our camera guys today. Lee Wexler is color and stats. Here's Jonah's pitch. It's outside a ball, and the count is now 1-2. Jonah is a junior. And I think this is maybe his first start of the year. That pitch is a little bit low, and the count is 2 balls and 2 strikes. Wildcats, I don't remember. Jonah, I think all the games that I've seen Jonah pitch have been in relief. Ball hit on the ground. Noah Wood at shortstop fields it right behind the base and throws on to first in time for out number 3. So 3 up, 3 down for Jonah Wolf in the top of the first inning. The Wildcats getting ready to come to bat. We're in Johnson City. Last night we were at Kingsport Dobbins Bennett. Lee and I have done a game here before. couple years ago, maybe a couple games. I remember one game. It was another one of those early morning contests. This is a minor league park where in the Appalachian League, I do believe, TVA Credit Union Ballpark here in Johnson City, and it looks like your typical minor league park with the high fences and all the advertisements, as you can see on the sides. It's a nice little park, and we're in a covered area once again.
Yeah, we are, and I think we were here 2 years ago in Oak Ridge. Can't remember who they played. I believe they played a team out of North Carolina. And, I think you were talking about earlier, it was a rough day for Oak Ridge yesterday, and, it was good to see Jonah Wolf come out and get 3 straight quick outs.
Yeah, yesterday the Wildcats lost 3-2 in 8 innings on, as we talked about, catcher's interference call, back-to-back catcher's interference calls, and then the nightcap, the Wildcats had a 8-run inning against them by Elder, Ohio, and the Wildcats, although they made a little bit of a rally in the bottom of the 7th inning, they were too far behind in that one, and they lost 12-9.
Yeah, it ended up being, one in that second ball game against Elder, one just disaster of an inning where Elder had 8 runs in 1 inning, and it kind of started off a huge error from, kind of a little just pitching catch situation, a comebacker to the pitcher, and, the catcher, Max, just couldn't hold on to the throw back from the pitcher. So that kind of just what got everything started, that one big disaster inning in Oak Ridge. When you give up 12 runs, you're just asking a lot of your offense. It was a decent little comeback last night. They did score 9 runs, but it was just a little too late. So, Oak Ridge got to get the bats going a little bit quicker today. Only 2 runs in the first game yesterday. They ended up scoring 9, but a lot of those runs came late in the 7th. So obviously you'd like to see the bats a little bit quicker in this game today.
This is the 4th game in 3 days for the Wildcats, and obviously the Wildcats will have 1 day of rest before they take on the Farragut Emeralds on Monday night at Bobby Hopkins. As Warren East leads things off, and the first pitch to him is on the inside corner for a called strike. Pitcher for the Jefferson County Patriots, not a big guy, a left-hander.
Yeah, Drew Moulter, lefty.
Pitch to Warren. Is hit on the ground, second base side. He fields it. Warren hustles, but is retired for the first out here this inning. The Wildcats took on Jefferson County earlier in the season and won that ball game. Jackson Gary, I think, was the winning pitcher. The final score was 8-2, with the Wildcats knocking off the Patriots. So this will be the second time. Batter now will be Brooks Poteet. Brooks, another junior. Bats from the left side. First pitch is high and outside. 1 ball, no strikes. Oliver, how you doing back there?
Doing good, David. I mean, it's a little bit hot, but I can't complain.
We'll get cameraman Preston Fetters in here in a bit. That pitch is outside or inside. 2 balls and no strikes. These early morning ball games, it's rough on the players. After a long night last night, Brooks takes ball 3. Brooks back in. Left-handed hitting junior. Playing the outfield once again. Did not play in the second game yesterday. He takes a strike from the left-hander. I think we've seen more left-handers in this tournament than we've seen all year, honestly. The wind, the pitch to Brooks is outside, and that's ball 4. And Brooks Poteet is the first base runner of the day for the Wildcats. And here comes Mikey Teasley. Mikey had a very quiet night yesterday at the plate, and very quiet for Mikey for sure. In the district ball games, he's hitting about 500. But I honestly am trying to remember, did he have any hits at all yesterday?
Yeah, I'm looking back in the scorebook from yesterday. Mikey Teasley, I know he had a walk in the second game. I remember in the Dobbins-Bennett game he hit a laser to third that was caught. No, he had 1 single in the first ball game in the 7th inning against Dobbins-Bennett.
Okay. Takes a strike on the inside half of the plate, and the count is 0-1. Joseph Webb is on deck for Oak Ridge. We're in the bottom of the first inning here in Johnson City. Throw over to first, and Brooks Poteet back to the bag. Working our 3 cameras. We got some interesting angles today. One of them is miles away. Hopefully that's a good shot in this minor league ballpark. Preston, did you have fun setting up the cameras?
Yeah, it wasn't that bad, except for the
one that's on the batters, that one was hard to get a good angle on.
The netting is hard to go through. The cameras always try to focus on the net, so we had to kind of move it back again. Mucky hits the ball foul over towards the Jefferson County dugout. The Patriots wearing, as you can see, their red, white, and blue, predominantly red jerseys. The Wildcats are in their cream-colored jerseys with Cardinal numerals. Brooks Poteet, the base runner at first. The Wildcats had several base runners picked off yesterday, kind of taking away from their aggressive style. They got another one. Here comes the throw, and Brooks is going to be out. So once again, another base runner is cut down on the base paths, and Brooks took off, and the lefty came to first base, and they got him at second.
It's awful similar to what we saw in the Dobbins-Bennett game yesterday. Dobbins-Bennett was throwing a lefty, and just similar to that, if you're a base runner for Oak Ridge, you're trying to steal on the first move, and that's just part of it, unfortunately.
Mucky hits the ball right side. Second baseman, first baseman, all back there, and it's going to be the right fielder who makes the catch for out number 3. So the Wildcats pick up a base runner on a walk. He is retired on the base paths. We go to the top of the second inning, live in Johnson City. Jefferson County and the Wildcats scoreless. We'll be back to Johnson City in a moment. Our sponsors for today's game and all season long on Oak Ridge High School baseball, we've got Laura Lynn Green with State Farm Insurance, the Oak Ridge High School class of 1989, who encourages other classes to get involved as well. Sexton Automotive of Oak Ridge, Todd Fox with the Fox Insurance Group. East Tennessee Spine and Sport, Mike Kelly with Betsy Coleman Realty. And we've had other individuals have donated money to our cause. We have probably stream more games this year than we have any year in baseball. And as the postseason approaches, we've got about another week of the season. Then the postseason will begin. Wildcats will be hosting the district tournament, part of the district tournament already. The first place and second place teams host the first rounds of the district tournament. Oak Ridge can finish no worse than second, and they can finish first by sweeping Farragut on Monday and Wednesday. But we will be needing, TSSAA does charge for streaming rights, and we will probably be asking for help once again. Jonah Wolf begins his second inning of work, and the first pitch is a ball.
This is one of Jeff County's big studs here, Brody Carr. Yeah, I'm a little surprised they have him in the 4-hole, but this is one of their big studs.
He takes ball 2 balls and no strikes. This is TVA Credit Union Park in Johnson City. As I mentioned, it's part of the Appalachian League, the minor league system. Ball 3. Jonah retired the first 3 batters he faced in the first inning in order. Jonah just gets the ball and goes. He's ready. He's looking in for the sign for Kipton Fagan. The pitch, inside corner for a called strike. As I mentioned, this is the third catcher that Oak Ridge has used in this tournament and in the 4 days of baseball consecutively. Ball ripped to right, very deep. Right fielder Brooks Poteet looks at it. It's over the top and hits the top of the fence, and that's going to be a double for that young man. Ball just barely stayed in the ballpark. He hit it well.
Yeah, and like I said, I'm a little surprised. He's kind of the big stud for Jeff County. They have him in the 4-hole, and he leads off with a double. It's a little hard to see, but it ended up going off the top of the wall, and it stayed in the ballpark. So a leadoff double from Jeff County. And this will be Jackson Ormondi.
Right-handed right-handed batter. He's a big right-handed hitter. They've got a lot of big guys, too. We saw Greenville had really, really big guys. As Jonah Wolf gives up his first hit of the ball game. Ball hit foul, back to the screen. And out of play, obviously, and the count is 0-1. Wildcats come into this game 25-4-1 on the year. So they had 2 losses coming into yesterday, and they doubled that with the doubleheader loss to Elder and Dobbins-Bennett. 1-strike pitch, hit on the ground to Jonah. Looks at the runner going to third, fires it over to Cam Welch for the first out of the inning. Looked over there, but there was no way in the world. He made the right decision, and that's out number 1. They've got a runner at third base.
No, that ball was just softly hit to the left side for Jonah Wolf, and when your momentum's carrying you to first, there may have been a play at third, but that's one of those when your momentum's going to first, just go ahead and take the out. Nate Nichols, the DH.
And he's hitting for the right fielder?
Yeah, he's hitting for the right fielder because the pitcher, Drew Moulter, was hitting.
And hit it really well, too. Right-handed hitter again, once again. Jonah comes into the plate, breaking pitch, in there for a called strike. Like I said, I believe this is Jonah's first start in a varsity ball game. His dad's sitting right here in front of us. I could ask him, but I'm pretty sure that's the case. Runner off at third. Pitch. Good stop there by Kipton. Kept him from going to the backstop. Less foul territory for sure than we had at Dobbins-Bennett. That's for sure. It was like a mile behind the catcher. And anything that went back there was going to allow extra bases as Jonah's pitch is hit to the center field. I thought Noah might be able to get a chance, a little bloop single in, and it's 1-0 Jefferson County.
Yeah, just a little bloop fister in the shallow center. I thought, is that Noah Wood out there at short? I thought Noah Wood was going to be able to get back and catch the ball, but nonetheless it falls into shallow center, and it's 1-0 Jeff County. And this is the third baseman, Isaiah Kirk.
Another right-handed hitter. Runner at first. 1-0 Jefferson County. We're in the second inning. Hit on the ground, first base side. Camden's got one. Throw back, not in time. Noah stumbled just a bit as he hit the bag as he saw the man coming in. But they do get the lead man at second, and there's 2 outs now. And the batter?
The second baseman, Amos Rosser.
He's a left-handed hitter wearing the number 14. The Patriots wearing their red jerseys with blue numerals, white trim, white pants. Runner at first. Jonah swings and he misses as the batter for the Patriots, and Jonah Wolf in front, no balls and 1 strike. You ever have one of those days where you have trouble talking? I'm having trouble getting my words out. Maybe because it's just past 10 o'clock in the morning, probably. Early ball game. That pitch is down low. Quick throw, and easily back to the bag he goes. 1-0 Patriots. We're in the second inning. Oak Ridge's next game is Monday. That'll be at Bobby Hopkins in Oak Ridge. That'll be against the Farragut Admirals. Big game in the district. All students at Oak Ridge High School will get in free to that ball game. So, and I know that's always an incentive, guys. I know you guys are students. Is free good?
Yeah, I mean, can't complain with free.
Of course, you guys come and get paid sometimes. Preston, are you going to come to the game Monday?
We'll see.
That's a typical Preston Fetters answer. Wolf checks the runner at first. The pitch. There's called strike 3, and that is out number 3. Patriots do pick up a run. They leave one stranded. We go to the bottom half of the second inning here in Johnson City. The Wildcats of Oak Ridge trail 1-0. And we'll be back to Johnson City in a moment. Welcome back to Johnson City. The Wildcats trailing Jefferson County 1-0 as we go to the bottom of the second inning. It'll be Joseph Webb leading things off, followed by Carson Fagan in the Oak Ridge lineup. We'll be checking our chat here in a second to see who's watching. Cut on a miss. Joseph swings through the first pitch. Anything on the chat there, Mr. Oliver Poggle?
Yeah,
As the ball's lined to right field and a nice play, and that's out number one.
yeah, just some people saying good morning, and Dylan Skeen's grandparents are back.
That's always good. Our people watching from Connecticut. I wonder how cool it is up in Connecticut today. Down here it's about 72, I guess, right now at game time. We're sitting in the shade. The sun was kind of beating down on us, but we're once again covered. As Carson steps in, he hits the ball in the air to center field. The center fielder calls for it, makes the catch, and that is out number two. So quickly the Wildcats are retired the first two batters here in the second, and the batter will be Cam Welch. Cam got a chance to play, well, let's see, in the Jefferson County, in the Greenville ball game, he started and pitched 4 solid innings, played some right field, played some first base, was also a DH yesterday as well. As Cam steps in, big senior. Lefty versus lefty, the pitch on the outside corner, and the count is 0-1. The Doughboys play here in Johnson City in the Appalachian League. Cam takes ball one.
Yeah, and I'm not sure if they are a professional league or is it more of a, I think, and I could be wrong on this, are they more of a summer collegiate league? I'm not sure.
I don't know. You'll have to do some research on that, Lee. You're the color guy. You're supposed to be the historian and expert in all matters concerning baseball. Pitch to Cam is high and tight, and the count is 3-1, according to Oliver Poggle. He's doing our scoreboard work. Here's the pitch. Hit foul up the first base line where Coach Kevin McKeithen feels it and will throw it back into the pitcher. Travis Free, the head coach of the Wildcats, is in the third base coaching box. One person out of the lineup today is Parker Free. I don't know if he got banged up yesterday or if he's just exhausted. Pitch to Cam, ripped right to the second baseman, and that is out number 3. So the Wildcats 3 up and 3 down. We go to the top of the third here in Johnson City. The Wildcats of Oak Ridge trailing Jefferson County 1-0. Once again, we appreciate Laura Lynn Green with State Farm Insurance, the Oak Ridge High School class of 1989. That's Chris Corwin. He's been with us all throughout football, basketball, and baseball on our telecast, and we're well over 100 games broadcast this particular school year, starting all the way back with football. And he's been with us in all 3 sports. Sexton Automotive of Oak Ridge has been with us since football. Todd Fox and the Fox Insurance Group, football, basketball, and baseball. East Tennessee Spine and Sport. He didn't do basketball, but he did do football and baseball. Mike Kelly with Betsy Coleman Realty. Betsy Coleman Realty has been with us all through the 3 sports. And, of course, the people, the community, the grandparents, the aunts and uncles, the friends of the players have contributed money, including our friends in Amarillo, Texas, the Fagan family, who I know will be coming up to watch Carson graduate from high school. And I know they're looking forward to meeting all of you people who they have met on the chat. I was told that last night. And so, one of the great things, and Dobbins Bennett just doesn't get it. Dobbins Bennett does not get it. One of the great things about the ability to stream, even, doing radio back in the day before the streaming became popular, is you get an opportunity for grandparents and family members who are living far away, like our friends in Connecticut and down in Texas and elsewhere. We've had somebody from Idaho and Montana watching. They don't get a chance to see their grandkids or, nephews play, but that's what the streaming allows. But Dobbins Bennett just doesn't seem to understand that. You're promoting high school kids. They don't allow it.
Yeah, I don't know if they have some sort of secret contract with a local network or anything like that. As there's a swing and a miss by the 9-hole hitter. David, this is Jackson Felker, the catcher. Yeah, I don't know what it is with Dobbins Bennett. They don't allow it in any sports. I don't know what they're afraid of. I don't know if it's just entitlement. I don't know what it is, but they're one of the few schools They don't allow any kind of video at all.
Yeah, they couldn't even record on the Game Changer yesterday, which is to me just absolutely ludicrous. I just don't understand. You're trying to promote high school kids, and whatever reason, we've always had a great relationship with Dobbins Bennett in everything. I mean, they're fine people, really nice, but when it comes to broadcasting, they just don't allow it. Jonah Wolf working quickly. The pitch, looked good. And the count is?
It's a 2-2 count.
Jonah Wolf to the plate. Cut on, foul tipped into the mid of Kipton Fagan. And that is a strikeout, and that is strikeout number 2 for the junior pitcher, Jonah Wolf.
This will bring up the top of the order. This will be the left fielder, Sean Young, who hit that laser, absolute rocket to left field in the first pitch of the game.
Another big right-handed hitter. As I mentioned, Kipton Fagan is the catcher. Jonah Wolf to the plate. There's a breaking pitch in there for a called strike. Cam Welch is the first baseman. Whit Reniger is the second baseman. Noah Wood is the shortstop. Pitch outside. Mikey Teasley's at third. Carson Fagan in left. Warren East in center. Brooks Poteet in right. And here comes Jonah Wolf's pitch. Hit foul. Back to the netting. Towards Shane Fagan, but the netting saved him. And the count now is?
Count now is 1-2.
Wolf has the sign from Kipton. Here's the pitch. Hit foul over towards Jefferson County's dugout to our left. The count remains 1-2. Beautiful day, I think, tonight. Later on, we're going to get rain, but we'll be long back in Oak Ridge, hopefully. These 14-inning games, Preston, they're a really good pitch there. They might have determined it might have been a little low and outside, but the count now 2-2. I'm going to ask Lee a question here after this pitch, 2-2. Hit hard. Mikey Teasley can't come up with it. It's down the left field line, fielded by Carson, and that'll be a stand-up double. Ball was hit hard. Mikey laid out for it, but just couldn't quite get to it.
That's the second hard ball Sean Young has hit, both to the left field. This will be the pitcher, Drew Moulter.
Actually, that is a different third baseman. That is Joe at third? I just realized that. I just assumed is Mikey the DH?
Yeah, Mikey's the DH. That's Joe Webb over there at third.
I just noticed that. I looked out there and said that guy is much bigger than Mikey Teasley. And Jonah's pitch. There's a called strike. Count is 0-1. 1-0 Jefferson County's. They bat in the top of the third inning. Here in Johnson City, beautiful backdrop here. Cut on and missed. Count is 0-2. I was kind of messing with Preston. Preston was down in Alabama with us when we had the 14-inning ball game. We don't want any more of those, that's for sure. We used a lot of pitchers yesterday. I think the Wildcats getting ready for Farragut need to be as rested as they can be. There's swinging strike, and that is strikeout number 3 for Jonah Wolf, and that's out number 2. Did you ever play any games 14 innings long?
Yeah, I think one time it was during our Spring Break Warrior Classic week where we host a bunch of out-of-town teams. I want to say we played a 14-inning game against Station Camp. I think we won the game, actually.
Our game ended in a 6-6 tie because, for one, we were heading back home, and two, the home team at that park, cut on and missed, had a home ball game right afterwards, Gulf Shores, Alabama. And I think the athletic director said, we got to get our game going, and that's why the championship was split between us and the other team in a 6-6 tie. That's why Oak Ridge's record is 25-4-1. Jonah checks the runner at second. Breaking pitch outside. Nice stop by Kipton Fagan. I was messing with Kipton. Kipton and Carson went to the Braves game last Saturday, a week ago today. And Kipton's a catcher, and the Braves' backup catcher kind of struggled a bit in that game. And after this pitch, I'll come back to my story. Cut on and missed. Foul tipped actually into the mitt. and the ball got loose behind him, and then he couldn't find it. Then he threw a worm burner into the ground, and I went over to Kipton. I said, "That looks like you catching." And his face, I'll never forget. But catcher, he's a really good catcher, and he's a sophomore. He's going to get a lot of playing time in the future. There's called strike 3. So Jonah Wolf gives up a double, but Jonah really sharp here. He's had, in the first inning, Lee, some balls were hit pretty hard against him, but since that time he's kind of settled down. That was a nice double down the line, but he's settled down and picked up a few strikeouts.
Yeah, that's right. All 3 outs this inning came via strikeout. And it's interesting, you're going to have Brody Carr come up. That was a big out right there because now Brody Carr, I believe, is a Vanderbilt commit for Jefferson County. So that's 2 Vanderbilt commits we have out here on this field today. You keep Brody Carr from hitting in that previous inning, so he'll come up with the bases empty. He'll lead off the following inning. But, yes, he's throwing strikes. That's what you ask for. And they are hitting the ball hard a little bit, but just keep throwing strikes.
Going to put the mic down here. They're not playing music, but after 4 games in 3 days, I'm going to put my mic down, quit talking for a little bit. Oak Ridge trails it 1-0. We'll be back with the Wildcats. Leading things off will be Noah Wood, it would appear. And we'll be back for the bottom of the third in a moment. Welcome back to Johnson City, Tennessee, the Tribe Classic. The Wildcats trail the Jefferson County Patriots 1-0. Oak Ridge's bats need to wake up. The Wildcats struggled a bit in the first game against Dobbins-Bennett. Did score 9 runs in the second game. So far, yet to get a hit until right now, as Noah Wood lines the ball off the shortstop's glove into center field. And that's the first hit of the game for the Wildcats.
Yeah, first hit of the game for Oak Ridge goes off the shortstop's glove right there, and this will be Wint Reniger, second baseman.
Witt did not play in the 2 ball games previous. Witt is another sophomore. He's had several starts at second base this year for the Wildcats. Coach Free likes to play all his guys. When you got a deep lineup, and you talked about this yesterday, Lee. You got a wide variety of class representation. I mean, Witt's another one of the sophomores that plays a lot, and he's started many games at second base for Oak Ridge this year, and good solid hitter, and it bodes well for the future for the Oak Ridge program. They only have 5 seniors, and obviously they're key to the success of the team, but they have a big class. There's a ball hit up the middle. Here's a flip on, but not in time for the double play. They do get the lead runner, Noah Wood. The second baseman fielded it, kind of slid just a bit and tossed it to the shortstop, but Noah was out, but Witt was able to reach base. But, it bodes well for the future for Oak Ridge. And here's Kipton Fagan batting for the first time in this tournament. Kipton, a right-hand hitting sophomore. Witt draws a throw over at first. Reniger and Kipton Fagan, 2 sophomores. The Wildcats have Warren East on deck. He's a junior. Pitch, hit in the air. Foul territory coming back. Off the top of the roof once again. And the count is?
The count is 0-1.
I'm putting Oliver on the spot, making him talk a little bit. Preston's falling asleep again. We'll wake him up in a moment. Squares to bunt. Pitcher fields it, throws it, and in time to retire Kipton Fagan. The Wildcats have a runner in scoring position, and I think if he lays the bunt, past the pitcher, that's going to be a base hit for Kipton, but the pitcher came off the mound quickly and recovers, and here's Warren East with 2 outs here in the third.
Yeah, not a terrible bunt with the lefty pitching. Obviously, there was going to be no play at second. I think if he gets the bunt down the third base line, I think he probably would have run that out. This will flip the order of Warren East, who grounded out to second.
Wildcats trail it 1-0 here in Johnson City against Jefferson County, a traditional East Tennessee powerhouse in baseball. They've had a lot of success up in Jefferson County as Warren takes one high and tight. 1 ball, no strikes. I'd like to know for our viewers who watch most of the games which angles you like best of our cameras. It's hard. Different parks are configured so differently. It's hard as Warren and the ball bounces away but not far enough to advance the runner. It's hard to put our cameras. We're using 3 cameras, and maybe we'll go with 4 sometimes, but we're just still trying, kind of testing out using multiple cameras, and we don't have a lot of. Well, we don't have camera guys at each camera. Obviously, that requires a lot of manpower, but we'd like to know what your favorite angle is. There's a called strike, a little low and outside, but he called it a strike, and we'll check the chat. Please tell us. We want to do the best broadcast we can with what we have. These small parks with these netting is hard to see a lot of times, but we'd like to know your input. As Warren got hit off the left foot by the way he's hopping, and the Wildcats will have runners at first and second, and the batter will be Brooks Poteet.
Yeah, Brooks walked in his first at bat. I don't know if that pitch hit Warren East low, I guess, and the left foot, and I guess it caught him by surprise. I'm not sure if he thought it was going to hit him, and hopefully he'll be okay. He's going to walk this off, but yeah, he's gonna need a second here, David.
Yeah, his legs and feet are one of his best weapons. Obviously, he I would assume I'm guessing he's the fastest guy on the team. I don't know. I've never asked anybody, and of course that's not something that Coach Free talks about, but. He's a great base runner. He's our leading base stealer, and he's a great outfielder using his legs and usually gets a good jump. And let's see if Warren's ready to go. The umpire asked him if he's okay, and he says he is. He's still a little bit of pain, but he's going to go, and Brooks will step in with runners at first and second. 2 outs here in the third in a 1-0 ball game. Lead runner is Whit Reniger. He is at second base. The pitch to Brooks. Hit on the ground softly. It's going to be a bang-bang play, and he doesn't make it. He tried to tag Warren East coming by him to second base, and the Wildcats will have the bases loaded.
Yeah, and it was almost like didn't mean to a little half check swing there, and the ball was hit so softly. I think the best play for the second baseman there was maybe just to go to first, and he tries to tag Warren East, who does a great job of avoiding the tag. So bases loaded, 2 outs for Mikey Teasley, who I think is due, in this tournament right now at the plate.
Hit the ball hard, really hard one time for an out in the games yesterday. He faces lefty, and that pitch is high and outside. 1 ball, no strikes, 1-0. Good opportunity for the Wildcats. Bases loaded, but there are 2 outs. Mikey ahead in the count, 1 ball, no strikes. Ball 2. Joseph Webb is on deck. Obviously, the Jefferson County pitcher is trying to be careful with Mikey.
Yeah, he is. I think he probably knows who Mikey is and how good Mikey is. I don't. Here's the pitch.
Mikey was Mr. Baseball in Tennessee last year in the 4A classification. Two-one pitch, ball 3. 1 pitch away from tying the ball game with a bases-loaded walk. Mikey's thinking differently. Mikey's usually fairly patient at the plate. 3 balls, 1 strike. Bases loaded. Poteet, East, and Reniger. Ball hit on the ground. That's not going to do it. Fielded by the second baseman. Flips it on to the shortstop, and that is out number 3. So the Wildcats load the bases but fail to score. We go to the top of the 4th inning. The Wildcats trailing the Jefferson County Patriots 1-0. We'll be back to Johnson City. Actually, Oliver, do you have anybody on the chat?
Hold up, give me a second, David. I gotta look at this. Nobody really said anything else except for the box, like the batter's box is the best angle. That's I had one person say that.
From behind the plate. That we'd like to do that. Other parks we can do that, but these last 2 that we've gone to, they're seating directly with their feet against the net down there, and we just can't put a camera there, unfortunately. And we couldn't at Dobbins Bennett because it was so far back from the batter's box. But I agree with you 100%. That's the best angle that we have is the Wildcats trail 1-0. Jonah Wolf doing his warm-up tosses. We'll be back for the fourth inning in a moment. Welcome back to Johnson City, Tennessee. We go to the top of the fourth inning, 1-0. Jefferson County in the lead, and the big Vanderbilt commit is the leadoff man for the Patriots.
Yeah, doubled off the right field wall and scored the only run here in the ball game so far.
Jonah's first pitch to him is outside a ball, 1 ball and no strikes. I meant to ask Jonah's dad if this is his first start. I don't remember him starting any other varsity game. That ball is ripped again to right field, but not as deep. Brooks Poteet, in a couple steps, makes the catch for out number 1. So big man is retired, and out number 1 here in the fourth, and the batter.
The first baseman, Jackson Armandi, he hit that little comebacker to Jonah back in the second.
Mike Kelly of Betsy Coleman Realty watching. Mike Sheehan of the former Wildcat football player and track guy is watching our broadcast. Brad Jones watching our broadcast as well as we broadcast from TVA Credit Union Ballpark in Johnson City. Jonah Wolf comes to the plate, cut on and missed. He kind of relies a little bit more on his breaking stuff, but that was a good fastball there. And the count?
The count currently is 0-2.
Jonah works quickly. Here's his pitch. Outside with it. The count is 1-2. Jefferson County and Oak Ridge played earlier in the year. As I mentioned, the Wildcats won that game 8-2. Boy, Jonah just gets the ball and throws it. Ball hit to Webb, and he has trouble picking it up and will not be able to make the play off his glove, and that is another base runner for the Jefferson County Patriots. The official scorekeeper gave him a hit. Ball was hit hard. I think if you ask Joseph, he'll tell you that he probably should have fielded it. And just by his body language, he was upset with himself. And the inning continues. And the batter?
The DH, Nate Nichols, who had the RBI single back in the second.
Runner at first, being held on by Camden Welch. Joseph Webb is the third baseman. The second baseman is Whit Reniger. The shortstop is Noah Wood. And let's see, Kipton Fagan is the catcher. Left field is Carson Fagan, Warren East in center, Brooks Poteet in right, and as I mentioned, Jonah Wolf. If I don't say everybody's name, their family members get upset with me, so I go through it several times as that pitch is outside, and the count, I believe, is 2 balls and no strikes, I believe. 1-1. Thank you, Oliver. I can see the scoreboard a bit. They switched it off to an error. So, and I kind of agree with that, actually. I think Joseph will tell you he should have come up with that play. Jonah comes to the plate, hit softly, right back to him. He fields it, and here's the throwback, and there's a double play. So the Wildcats turn to twin killing and get them out of the fourth inning with no damage done. We go to the bottom of the fourth inning in Johnson City, 1-0. Jefferson County. We need the bats going. Need to get the bats rolling here in Johnson City. The Wildcats trail 1-0. We appreciate Laura Lynn Green with State Farm, Class of '89, Sexton Automotive, Todd Fox and the Fox Insurance Group, East Tennessee Spine and Sport, Mike Kelly with Betsy Coleman Realty, and the Fagan family as well. We'll be back to Johnson City for the bottom of the fourth in a moment. Welcome back to Johnson City. We start play here in the bottom of the fourth inning. Joseph Webb squares to bunt, takes a strike. What did Joseph do his first time?
He flew out to right field his first at bat.
Wildcats had an opportunity to score in the previous inning. The ball hit back our way off the netting. I saw some movement back here from my technical people. Were you all ducking? Oliver was yawning. Preston was ducking. Joe back in once again. Wildcats had the bases loaded in the previous inning. The ball bounces away back to the screen, but failed to score. Wildcats have Carson Fagan on deck. Carson had a good game yesterday offensively. At least 3 doubles that I remember.
Yeah, and I think had 4 hits total on the day at least. Yeah, Carson had a great day at the plate, saw the ball well, drove it to all parts of the field, and I think was really good defensively as well. I know we talked about his offense, but defense was great as well.
There's a ball outside. And the count is 2 balls and 2 strikes. Nobody out, nobody aboard here for the Wildcats in the fourth in a 1-0 game with the Patriots on top. Pitch to Joe is way up high. Wildcats have had some base runners. They had 1 picked off. They had the bases loaded, as I mentioned in the previous inning, but haven't been able to dent the scoreboard as we get ready for Farragut on Monday. Pitch, hit foul, out of play to our right. It's a beautiful ballpark. I mean, it's very scenic. Unless you look over the top of the fence, there's something not as pleasant to look at on the other side of the fence, but just in terms of seating and such and facilities, really nice. Very nice park here. Pitch to Joe, hit in the air, foul again. Coming back our way and out of play. Yeah, the Wildcats will take on the Admirals of Farragut. A win there will tie them with the Admirals for first place in the district. A win on Wednesday would give them the outright championship. Joe takes ball 4. Good start for the Wildcats here in the fourth. And the batter will be Carson Fagan. Farragut, a perennial power, as we all know, back-to-back state champions in baseball. And second time they've been 4-peat.
Yeah, they're currently on a 4-peat, and it's actually, I believe, at least their second time doing it. It's just, I don't know where they come up with all these players that show up at their doorstep year in, year out, but every year they're a wagon.
Gifton tries to bunt it, hits it back to the screen, foul, and the count is 0-1. Yeah, that'll be the game on Monday at Bobby Hopkins. We'll have the broadcast for you on our YouTube channel, and I assume we'll do the game on Wednesday as well. We are getting to our limit once again with multiple people on the crew. It takes a lot of manpower, and we've done a lot of ball games, and I know a lot of people appreciate it. Obviously we have people all over the country watching. We've had people in Guam watching. We've had people in Korea watching, and in Germany, military bases. And we appreciate all of you all watching our games. Here's the pitch to Carson. He hits the ball in the left field. That's a base hit. Good, solid base knock. And the Wildcats will have him at first and second with nobody out. Hardest hit ball, I think, of the night so far for the Wildcats, or the afternoon or morning, I guess.
Yeah, and Carson continues to swing the bat well. I think, so far in the games I've been able to watch, he's looked like really Oak Ridge's best player so far, just with the way he's been playing defense and, the way he's been swinging the bat. He's obviously seen the ball well.
And now the batter will be number 23, Camden Webb. Welch. What did I say, Webb? I'm tired like you guys, too. I
would never mess that up, David. You got to respect Cheeto.
All right, Oliver. I'm going to start picking on you the rest of the ball game here. You just created a war right here. As Cheeto does come to the plate, he's one of those 5 seniors I talked about. Wildcats have Dylan Skeen. They have Camden Welch. They have Mikey Teasley. They have Tri Sharp. And 5 seniors on this squad. And here's the pitch. He squares to bunt and hits it foul. I don't know that I've ever seen Cam Welch actually lay down a bunt before. He's been known for his power. Has hit several home runs in previous years. Came off of an injury. Did not start playing until the spring break trip to Alabama, and then he was very limited, had stitches in his hand for a while, and hasn't really had many at-bats this year. I would say under 20, to be honest with you. There's a quick throwback, and back to the bag. At second base will go Joseph Webb. Carson, obviously, that other senior on this team. He's the base runner at first. Cam back in. See if he tries to bunt it again this time. Nope, he is. He does bunt it. Foul up the third base line. And he's behind in the count. No balls and 2 strikes.
Yeah, it looks like Coach Freeze just trying to maybe do something a little different here. I think you just said, Cam doesn't really bunt. That's interesting, asking a guy to bunt who doesn't normally do it. And he hit the ball hard. His first at bat to the second baseman, who was caught, and so now he's got 2 strikes.
Played a lot of baseball. He's pretty savvy, but like I said, he doesn't bunt much. In fact, I've never seen him do it before in his 4 years. That doesn't mean he can't. He's going to swing this time, and he does hit the ball hard. He's going to advance the runners. They've got the throw. They've got a double play. So that's unfortunate that he wasn't able to get the bunt down. That would have, if he had been able to, the Wildcats would have had a couple runners in scoring position. And then with the 2 strikes, he was forced to swing away, and unfortunately, that's a double play. Joe advances to third, but there are now 2 outs for Noah Wood.
And Noah Wood had a single, his first at bat off the shortstop's glove, but it was well hit.
And here's the pitch to him. Cut on and missed. Wildcats have had several opportunities, bases loaded in the previous inning. First and second with nobody out. The little things the Wildcats need to execute a little better on. Noah hits the ball on the ground once again up the middle. A second baseman fields it and throws him out for out number 3. So a golden opportunity once again goes by the board. The Wildcats still scoreless as we go to the top of the 5th in Johnson City. Thanks for tuning us in on our YouTube channel, Prep Radio. Our next broadcast, as I mentioned, will be Monday. Next week is the final week of the regular season for the Wildcats, and they'll start postseason play. They will host at least part of the district tournament, they can finish no worse than second place in the district. They are currently 1 game behind the Farragut Admirals with a chance to play them twice next week. We are live in Johnson City. Well, the bats have gone a little cold here in the last little bit, and hopefully the Wildcats still with opportunities, and hopefully Jonah can keep it right where it is. 1-0 our score. We'll be back for the 5th in a moment. Welcome back to Johnson City. Thank you for tuning in our broadcast, our live broadcast on our YouTube channel. Jonah Wolf begins his 5th inning of work. He's given up just the 1 run. Has really settled down. The balls were hit pretty hard in the first inning, but he's settled down nicely against this heavy hitting team. And the young man tries to bunt and fouls it, and the count is 0-1.
This is Isaiah Kirk, who reached on a fielder's choice back in the second.
Kipton looks over to the Oak Ridge dugout where the pitch is signaled in to him. They use a pitch comm system, but he looked over that way. Pitch foul tipped into the mid of Kipton Fagan. And the count is 0-2. It's interesting how they use the electronic pitch count, signaling the pitch in. The ball hit on the ground. Noah Wood fields it. Very nice play for him. Easy throw across the diamond, and that is out number 1. Noah's very smooth out there at shortstop. He's played a lot of shortstop and second base for the Wildcats in his first 3 years. And who's up now?
This is the 8-hole Amos Rosser, who struck out looking.
Oliver, anybody on the chat I know it's an early morning on a Saturday. Maybe a lot of people are not even up. We had to go bang on Preston's door several times to get him up this morning. He's just hard to get up. In Alabama, we found him sleeping on the beach one morning. It was really strange, but he managed to get through the day okay. Oliver?
Yeah, we got a couple more people. Mike Kelly's asking to bring back some pals after the game.
Yeah, he loves pals. Tommy and Martha said you're crazy. The Big Ez is better than pals. As Jonah's pitch cut on and missed, and that is strike two.
I would prefer Big Eds over pals as well.
Okay. 0-2 pitch, hit in the air to left field Carson Fagan. A one-handed grab out there, and that is out number two. Jonah pitching really well. Jonah is kind of mixing it up just a bit, and he's kind of kept him off balance, and he hasn't given up but the one run. And how many hits do they have total?
Yeah, they've only got 3 hits. He's got, at least 4 strikeouts. So he's pitching to contact. He's letting his defense work. He's only given up 1 run. And again, another good starting outing for the Oak Ridge pitcher. Just no run support to show for it.
Most definitely, and which is unusual. The Wildcats are, typically they've run-rolled a ton of teams this year, but a little bit cold. They did score 9 yesterday in the second game. There's a ball hit on the ground. Easy play. Cam Welch, he's going to flip it. No, he's going to take it himself. He looked like he wanted to flip it to Jonah Wolf, but he wasn't that far away from the bag, and he steps on it for out number 3. So the Patriots go down 1-2-3. We go to the bottom of the 5th in a fast-moving game in Johnson City. The Wildcats trail it 1-0. You guys, have you ever had pals?
Never had pals.
Never.
So, in the vote, Mike Kelly says, Betsy Coleman Realty, one of our sponsors, he says he'd rather have pals. He didn't say he'd rather have it over Big Ez, but Tommy and Martha Lee said they would rather have Big Ez. If you had the choice, not even having tried pals, Big Ez or pals?
Ooh, I don't know. Probably since I've had Big Eds, I got to say Big Eds, but...
Yeah, I'll go the same with him. I'll go Big Ed's because I've never had pals, but I wouldn't mind trying it.
You saw it's that one with a big hot dog on it. We've seen them all around here. I think the closest one is in Morristown. I think Michael, just get up one morning and say, I'm going to go eat lunch at Pal's, and that's what he does.
I believe there's a Pal's in Jefferson City, or at least I think there used to be one. Yeah, for me, I'm more of a pizza guy than a burger guy. Although the one time I think we did eat Pal's, I thought it was really good. So, but for me, I'm always going to choose Big Ed's over Pal's.
Well, we just need some runs. We need to get some pal in our bats right now as the Wildcats trail it by a score of 1-0. Wildcats came into yesterday with only 2 losses total on the entire season, and they lost twice yesterday. Wildcats trying to avoid a 3-game losing streak as they prepare to play the always tough Farragut Admirals on Monday. We hope you'll come out. Obviously at Bobby Hopkins there's limited seating, so come out early. All the students are going to get in free on Monday. And the old Bobby Hopkins stands could pack them in. There was a lot of room. I remember the days when Todd Hilton was playing for Central. There would be 1,000 people at a baseball game, but don't have that seating anymore, as we hope we have a big crowd, and that'll be Monday. Got to get the bats going. I think that's Whit Reniger leading things off, and he hits the ball foul up the first base line. Is that Whit? Yeah, Whit Reniger, sophomore second baseman.
Reached on a fielder's choice back in the 3rd inning. That is crazy. The students get in free. My high school never would have done anything like that.
Our football team, just about the first 100 students get in free at the football games.
That is crazy. I mean, I think former players such as myself could go to a baseball game for free, but my high school never would have allowed students in free.
Ball hit well to center field, but right to him. He makes the catch for out number 1. So Whit hit it hard, but out. Better now will be Kipton Fagan. Kipton bats for the second time.
Yeah, Kipton Fagan, I gave him a sack bunt back in the 3rd inning. It's crazy, David. Oak Ridge has not had a strikeout. It's just, I don't know what it is. They're putting the ball in play. It's just a lot of stuff like that. Just a lot of fly balls, a lot of just finding gloves.
Kipton takes a strike inside half of the plate. 0-1 the count. Kipton, by his body language, didn't agree with it, but can't argue too much. He's the catcher. He's going to have to deal with the guy standing behind him the rest of the day, and that pitch is an outside pitch, outside for a ball. That's 1-1 now the count. Pitch, low and inside, 2 balls and 1 strike. Well, I'm eager to find out if Mike has responded to everyone trashing his pals.
Mike said he has Big Ed's last night, and he said the closest one is in Jefferson City.
Okay. And that's where he goes. Are you going? I wonder if he's going there for lunch. He could have come and joined us up here, Johnson City. He always tells me, well, that would be nice, but I have a wife and a couple kids, so can't do that. Kipton calls timeout, didn't get granted. Here's the pitch to him. Oh, almost hit him. As they say, wear it. He didn't. And the count, I believe, is 2-2.
Actually, I think the count is 3-2, but honestly, I'm not paying as close attention as Oliver back here is. Yeah, Oak Ridge, as I said, they haven't struck out yet, and they're putting the ball in play. They're just finding a lot of gloves, hitting the ball right at people, which is good. You're hitting the ball, but just not. They're not getting any breaks.
There's a base hit down the line. That might be more than one. Kipton's around first. The left fielder fumbles it. He's got second, and the stop sign is thrown up by Coach Travis Free. So both Kipton and Carson Fagan with base hits, and the Wildcats have a runner in scoring position and the top of the order in Warren East.
Yeah, the Fagan brothers, I don't know what they've been eating, but obviously what I'd start eating, if I was the Oak Ridge players, I'd start seeing what they're doing because both Fagan brothers are seeing the ball well, and that'll bring up Warren East, who grounded out to second, was hit by a pitch back in the 3rd inning.
Delta Sky 360 food is what they ate a week ago today down at Truist Park, both of them, as Warren will step in for the Wildcats. He'll be followed by Brooks Poteet. Warren steps in. Warren's been mainstay at the top of the order for the Wildcats. He takes a ball. 1 ball and no strikes. Warren back in. Warren East, Jr. 1-0 pitch. There's a called strike. In the outer half of the play, that evens the count at 1 ball and 1 strike.
I'm going to say that's Kipton running out there just based on everything. He's got the armband and the arm sleeve, so I'm going to guess that's Kipton.
Yeah, there's only 1 out, so he doesn't need to get back to the dugout to put his catching gear on. And he's a good base runner. He's primarily this year, when he hasn't played catcher, he has been a runner. He and Andy Hudson have primarily done those duties for the Wildcats. 2 balls and 1 strike to Warren East. Brooks Poteet on deck. The Wildcats trying to get on the board. They've got a runner in scoring position in the top of the order. Pitch to Warren. Oh, for the second time, Warren East has been hit. This one a little higher. He got hit in the foot his last time. And that one maybe a little either in the rib cage or the thigh. Either way, it's painful either way. So Warren's going to have a few bruises after this one.
Yeah, I think maybe the left butt cheek on that one is going to have a bruise on the foot and the butt cheek. And this will be Brooks Poteet, who's reached safely both times with a walk and a single.
Left-handed batter. Wildcats with runners at first and second. Infield is in on the grass, but I don't think this is a bunt situation for Brooks. Pitch to him. Oh, that goes all the way back to the screen. The Wildcats are going to have him at second and third. It did hit him. So just barely glancing blow, and the bases are full of Wildcats. And here's Mikey again. This is the second time in the ballgame Mikey Teasley has batted with the bases loaded. I can hear his dad to our right here giving some encouragement and the kind of a slow walk out of the Jefferson County dugout, and we'll have a conversation. 1-0 is our score. Another golden opportunity for the Wildcats. Laurel Lynn Green, State Farm Insurance. We appreciate her and their sponsorship of all of our sports that we've done on Prep Radio this season, this school year. Oak Ridge class of 1989, and that's Chris Corwin. He encourages other classes to get involved as well. And we appreciate the class of 1989, Sexton Automotive of Oak Ridge, Todd Fox and the Fox Insurance group. East Tennessee Spine and Sport, that's Donnie Sharp, former Wildcat. He pitched up here in Johnson City for ETSU for, I guess, 4 years. Mike Kelly, Betsy Coleman Realty. Mike played football for the University of Chattanooga. And, of course, our friends and family who've donated, including the Fagan family down in Texas. And here's Mikey, bases loaded. Wildcats, they've got the big gun up and Joe on deck, so got to make the most out of this opportunity. And here's the pitch to Mikey. That's a ball, bounces away, but not too far. Very wisely. Andy Hudson stays at third base. So Andy is the lead runner at third. Down at second is Warren East. At first is Brooks Poteet. One ball, no strikes to Mikey. 1-0 Jefferson County. Wildcats batting in the fifth. Here's the pitch. Inside corner for a called strike. That evens the count at 1 ball and 1 strike. The fans down front didn't like that at all. One ball, 1 strike. Here's the pitch to Teasley. Hit on the ground. Bouncing play. They've got one. No, they don't. I don't think he ever touched the bag, but the Wildcats have tied the ball game. Mikey grounds out. He is safe at first. The Wildcats have him on the corners, and the Wildcats have finally broken onto the scoreboard. It's 1-1.
Yeah, Mikey was probably looking for better contact. He hit the ball to the short and ended up legging out, beating the double play. So that'll be 2 outs, but tie game.
Andy Hudson comes in to score the run. And with runners at first and third, Joseph Webb will be the batter.
Yeah, Joseph Webb is 0 for 1 with a fly out and a walk.
Wildcats could take the lead. Warren East, the lead runner now at third. Brooks Poteet was erased in the fielder's choice at second. Mikey, the runner, at first. Here's the pitch to Joe. Mikey's going, and no throw. The Wildcats have a couple runners in scoring position. That's a stolen base for Mikey Teasley. So there's 2 in scoring position for Joe, who's ahead in the count, 1 ball and no strikes. Here's the pitch. Ball 2. 2 balls and no strikes. With the base open, Parker Free is on deck for the Wildcats. Parker did not start the ball game, but he is on deck. But there are 2 outs. Joe trying to get the Wildcats the lead or reach base for Parker. Here's the pitch to Joe. Oh, he swung and foul-tipped it off the catcher. And the count, I believe, is 2-1.
Yeah. Wait, I think it's 1-2.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Well, did they? Yeah, 1 ball. We'll go with that. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Correct. Thank you, Oliver. Joe needs to be a hitter here. It's a 1-1 ball game in the fifth. Here's the pitch. That's up high. As I mentioned, Parker Free is on deck. He did not start. The coaching staff said they just wanted to give Parker a little bit of a rest. You know, catching is very hard. You know, he does a lot of that. He's done most of that this year. Here's a pitch to Joe. Hit foul. Back to the screen. Stays alive. Runner at third is Warren East. The runner at second is Mikey Teasley. Wildcats. Andy Hudson scored the first run of the game for the Wildcats. Base hit can mean 2 right here for Joe. Kind of flexes his bat as he steps in. Here's the 2-strike pitch. Hit in the air. Right side. Right fielder calls for it. Sees it. Staggers a bit, but makes the catch for out number 3. But the Wildcats do tie it. The Wildcats had, opportunities to score more, but once again, the Wildcats are fortunate that they do tie the ball game. 1-1 our score as we go to the top of the 6th inning here at TVA Credit Union Ballpark. We'll be back in a moment. Welcome back once again to Johnson City in a tie ball game now, 1-1. Jonah Wolf has gone all the way for the Wildcats, and that ball is hit to right field, shallow. First baseman in foul territory, Cam Welch, makes the catch for out number 1. 1-1 our score, very low scoring pitcher's duel. Jonah Wolf doing a really good job for the Wildcats on the mound in his first start as a varsity Wildcat on the hill.
Yeah, he's only issued 3 hits, and I think he's got 4 strikeouts. So Jefferson County's been putting the ball in play. David, I'm looking down my sheet here. I don't see any walks. Yeah, so that obviously that's good.
There's a pitch outside, a ball. 1 ball, no strikes. So I mentioned the next Wildcat game will be Monday at home against Farragut. Hope you'll be there. I mean, big game. Ball hit hard. Oh, down the line, that's going to be at least 1, maybe more than that. Heading towards second. Brooks comes up with it and slings it back into the infield, and that is a 1-out double. And they've got the go-ahead run in scoring position.
Yeah, that was the first hit of the ball game. That was the pitcher, Drew Moulter, and this will bring up the 3-hole Caleb Franklin, who's 0 for 2.
The Wildcats will probably start somebody warming up. Jonah's pitched great, but we're getting kind of late into the 6th inning. You're right. The Oak Ridge starters obviously in the Greenville ball game got a good effort from Cam Welch, and in the Dobbins-Bennett game, a good start as well. That pitch is hit in the outfield, and that's going to get the go-ahead run in. Couple base hits, and here comes the throw in, and it is 2-1. So the Wildcats tied the ball game in the previous inning, but I think Jonah might be running out of gas. Couple hard hit balls.
Yeah, as soon as we complimented him, he's given up 2 hard hit balls, back-to-back doubles, and Jeff County takes a 2-1 lead, and this could be trouble. They're going to go ahead and intentionally walk the big stud from Jeff County, Brody Carr, and this will bring up Jackson Ormondi, who is 0 for 2.
Wildcats have used a lot of pitching in this tournament, which I was thinking about it as you get ready for these 2 really important ball games with Farragut. Wildcats could use a few more days rest, but they only have tomorrow to rest. Jefferson County looking for more runs. They lead now 2-1. Ball hit again hard. Carson on his horse makes the catch in left field. Tagging, here comes the throw in. It's going to be close, but not in time. Good throw by Carson Fagan, right on the money. That's 2 outs, but they've got runners at first and third. The Jefferson County coach not too happy with his runner at first. He yelled out, "You've got to tag." He did not, and they would have had 2 runners in scoring position, and here comes Coach Travis Free, and that might be the end of the day's work. And a good day's work for Jonah Wolf, if indeed this is that was his final batter. We'll see. The conversation continues. He hasn't left yet, and the Wildcats do have somebody warming up in the bullpen. Lee, why don't you kind of recap what's happened in the ball game?
Well, low-scoring game again, like the first game we saw yesterday against Dobbins-Bennett, as I don't believe we're going to see a pitching change here, so Jonah Wolf's going to stay in. Only 5 hits given up by Jonah Wolf here. Jefferson County, the bats have started to wake up a little bit for Jeff County. They take a 2-1 lead. They've got runners at the corners here with only, there's 2 outs. And I know you asked me to run down the scoring, but I'm going to pass the mic back.
Big part in the ball game right here. The Wildcats can't fall much farther behind as Jonah's pitch is hit into center field, and that's another base hit. I think probably and here comes the throw into third, and he is in. Probably should have taken him out right there because the balls have been hit hard. I know Coach Free, if he had it all to do over again, obviously hindsight's 20/20, would have pulled him, and now he's going to, and that'll be the end of the day's work. It's now 3-1. Jefferson County on top of the Wildcats. And here comes Coach Free, and it looks like Isaiah Wilson is going to take over on the mound for the Wildcats. We'll put down the mic. 3-1 Patriots. We'll be back in a moment. Good pitching performance by Jonah Wolf as he gets a nice round of applause from the Oak Ridge fans. We'll be back to Johnson City in a moment. We'll go back to Johnson City, where the Patriots have taken, I believe, a 3-1 lead. The scoreboard still says 2, but I think it's 3-1 over the Wildcats. Isaiah Wilson takes over, another sophomore pitcher. Has a couple wins to his credit this year as a starter. And he's going to get out number 3 right here. First pitch, and Brooks Poteet's under it, and that stops the bleeding here in the 6th inning. Patriots score 2 times. They lead Oak Ridge 3-1. We are live on our YouTube channel, Prep Radio. We'll be back to Johnson City in a moment. Welcome back once again to Johnson City. We go to the bottom of the 6th inning. Andy Hudson will lead things off for Oak Ridge. In the previous inning, Parker Free was on deck, but it's going to be Andy batting. Andy scored the only run for the Wildcats, who they'll trail 3-1 as we get late in this game.
I don't understand this. Carson Fagan's been the best hitter all weekend.
Pitch is down low, a ball.
This is Carson Fagan's spot.
Well, resting him for Farragut on Monday, I don't know. Here's a pitch to Andy. That's a called strike. Oliver, what's the count?
Count right now is 1-2.
Cam Welch is on deck. Lefty comes to the plate. The pitch, that's way outside. Hudson batting for the first time. He did score the only Wildcat run earlier. It's 3-1 now. That pitch is high and tight. Kind of very unfortunate if the Wildcats aren't able to rally, because Jonah Wolf really pitched well. I mean, he kind of ran out of gas in the top of this inning. Then he's trying to work a walk here, get on base somehow. And he's called strike 3 on the inside half of the plate. And that is out number 1. And without argument, Andy walks to the dugout. And here's Cam Welch.
Yeah, Cam Welch 0 for 2, had a line out to the second baseman and grounded into a 4-6-3 double play.
A couple missed opportunities in the game. I know, obviously hindsight's 20/20. Cam was called on to bunt with a couple runners on base and nobody out, and just wasn't able to get it done. He hasn't had a whole lot of. I mean, he hasn't been back even a month yet from injury, and didn't have any spring at all, getting ready for the season. So, and he's not. I've never seen him called upon to bunt before, and just couldn't get it down. And little plays like that kind of hurt Oak Ridge last night as well, as that pitch is low to Camden. And the count?
Count right now is 2-1.
Noah Wood is on deck for the Wildcats. We're in the 6th. The Wildcats trail 3-1. That's a ball up high. Wildcats need some base runners.
That was the first strikeout a moment ago for the Jefferson County pitcher on Andy Hudson.
There's a called strike. It is interesting why Andy actually did bat. Nothing against Andy. I mean, he's a fine player, but interesting. That pitch is up high, and that's ball 4. See if the Wildcats put a base runner in for Cam Welch, and they will. Wildcats will bring a base runner in. Let's see who that is. That Chevy? That Jaden Jefferson will be the base runner for Cam. The batter will be Noah Wood.
Well, they did change pitchers, too, so unless, I know they brought in Isaiah Wilson, so unless we missed a defensive change and they just let Andy hit, and nothing against Andy, get an opportunity.
Noah, pitch to him is outside. 1 ball, no strikes. Jaden Jefferson played a couple times, pitched a little bit yesterday. He's the base runner at first. Parker free. I see has grabbed a bat once again. Here's the pitch. That's ball 2. Wildcats have Whit Reniger on deck. Whit been kind of quiet today and hit the ball hard a couple times, I think I remember. Short lead for Jefferson. The pitch outside. Called a strike. And the count is 2 balls and 1 strike to Noah Wood. Pitch to him. Hit foul. Back to the net. And the count is even at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Titus Fetters, along with Oliver Poggle, our technical people here today. Lee Wexler is with me. My name is David Clary. Thanks for watching. Watching all season long if you've been watching. Wildcats are down 3-1. Throw over to first, and Jaden Jefferson is back to the bag. Jaden has a little brother. I don't know if he's on the middle school team, but he could be his twin image, actually. They look very, very similar. Hopefully they're as good at playing baseball. As that pitch is up high to Noah, and the count now?
Count right now is full count.
3 balls and 2 strikes. And here comes the payoff pitch. Nope, it's going to be a throw over to first, and Jaden back to the bag. Obviously, well, a 3-2 count. Jaden will be moving. There is only 1 out. Kevin McKeitham watching him closely. The pitch to Noah, that's ball 4. Good at bat there for Noah. Very patient, work to walk, and that's back-to-back walks for the Wildcats. And the batter now will be it's going to be Parker. Parker's going to step in, and he is going to bat. And now here comes the coaching staff for Jefferson County. Parker will get his first at bat of the ball game, and he'll wander out to third base to talk to his dad, the head coach, Travis Free. Wildcats with runners in first and second. It's not like the Wildcats haven't had opportunities in this game, Lee.
No, they've had plenty of opportunities to get runs in. They've had guys on all day. We're going to get a pitching change here. Oak Ridge, they just haven't gotten that big hit yet. They've had guys on. There's only 1 out here. They just haven't got that big hit yet. And we'll take a look who's going to be coming in to pitch here. Now, Oak Ridge is due. I know that you're getting late here in this, kind of round-robin tournament, if you will, and they're going to get ready for a big series, 2-game series with Farragut coming up this week. But, this is a moment to really get the bats going. They're going to bring in a reliever, and this is a huge opportunity. It's getting late in the 6th inning here.
Parker has the flair for dramatics. Talk about what he did yesterday dramatically.
Well, we'll start with the positives. And offensively, came in down 2-1 in the 2 outs in the top of the 7th. There was no runners on, and hit a deep home run, a solo shot to left center field to tie the game, to send the game. Ended up going to extra innings. But then on the negative, Oak Ridge had 2 outs, first and second, and a catcher's interference was called to load the bases with 2 outs. And that's something you very rarely see at any level. And the very next hitter makes contact with Parker's glove again, and the umpire called catcher's interference for the 2nd consecutive batter. When anybody doesn't know, again, catcher's interference is when the batter makes contact on the swing with the catcher's glove, and they are awarded first base. Well, there was nowhere to put the hitter, and that was essentially the end of the game. So I've never seen anything like that. I've never seen 2 catcher's interferences called in a game, much less in that scenario. And unfortunately, Parker tied the game, but ended up, I don't want to say cost the game. I mean, as a catcher, you're not trying to do that. It was just, it's tough. It was unfortunate, and I know Parker, he wasn't trying to do that, but he did swing the bat well yesterday, and this is a big moment right here for Parker.
New pitcher in the ball game, second one this inning. Parker batting for the first time in this game. He checks in with the umpire. Oak Ridge has runners at first and second, one out here in the sixth inning, bottom of the sixth, in a 3-1 ball game. Wildcats have Kipton Fagan on deck. Kipton had a big hit his last time. Kipton, part of our prep radio crew. It did some basketball games with us. Didn't go on a really long road trips. Fulton, I guess, was his longest road trip, I think. Not too far. Here comes Parker once again. The pitch to him. Called strike on the outside half of the plate, and the count is 0-1. It's Oak Ridge and Jefferson County today. Monday, it's Oak Ridge and Farragut at Bobby Hopkins in Oak Ridge. Here's the pitch to Parker. Cut on and missed. And he's behind in the count, no balls and 2 strikes. Kipton's on deck. Parker, righty versus righty. The junior digs back in, down 0-2. The pitch, outside, way outside. And the count now 1 ball and 2 strikes. One ball, 2 strikes. The pitch, cut on a miss, and Parker goes down swinging, and that is out number 2. And, coming right off the bench, he tried to swing hard and try to get on base. I think Parker's tired. I think they were resting him, obviously. A lot of catching duties for him, and now it's going to be up to Kipton Fagan. Kipton had a hit his last time. Wildcats, as you mentioned, they just cannot get the big hit, especially from their big bats. As Parker goes down swinging, that's only maybe the second strikeout of a Wildcat. As Kipton stands in, the pitch to him. He swings and he misses, and the count is 0-1.
Yeah, Kipton is he's 1 for 1. Gave him a sac bunt in the third, and he had the double, and has scored Oak Ridge's only run.
There's a ball outside. Oliver, you changing cameras a lot today?
Yeah, quite a bit, David. Just trying to get like the out angle that Preston has right now.
We don't want an out angle. We want base hit angle. There's a ball bouncing away, but not far enough. Kipton jumps out of the way, and not far enough to move the runners out. The Wildcats have runners at first and second. Jaden Cheverton is the base runner at second base. At first base is Noah Wood. Kipton back in, right-handed hitter, sophomore. Here, Coach McKeithen in the first base coaching box. Pitch, hit foul into the parking lot, and then kind of an excuse me swing, and Kipton not too happy with himself. And the count is even now, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Wildcats in danger of losing 3 straight after losing only 2 all season. Heading into a big series, I don't know. I hope they have a light switch they can switch on, and I know they do. I know they'll get motivated to play Farragut, but just haven't had the big guns have not really produced like we're accustomed to seeing them doing in the last little bit. Kipton back in, pitch to him, cut on a miss, and that is strike 3 swinging, and that is out number 3. Once again, the Wildcats pick up a couple base runners. Once again, they strand them. We go to the top of the 7th inning here in Johnson City. The Wildcats down to the Patriots 3-1. We'll be back in a moment. David Clary back here along with Lee Wexler, along with Oliver Poggle, Preston Fetters. That's our crew here today in Johnson City and last night in Kingsport, where the news has not been good. The Wildcats only had 2 losses coming into this entire tournament, beating some of the top teams in the state, but this weekend has been rough. They did beat the defending state champion Greenville team. Isaiah Wilson's first pitch is hit foul, first base side. Cam Welch gives it a look, but it's well out of play, and the count is 0-1. Who will the Wildcats have in the bottom in the 7th?
Well, it'll be the top of the order. It'll be Warren, Brooks, and Mikey.
Those are 3 guys you'd normally want up in that situation. Wildcats have got to find some energy. They've been up here since Thursday with the game with Greenville. That ball's hit hard to right, but the right fielder, Brooks Poteet, calls for it. I believe that's Brooks out and right still, and that is out number 2. So Isaiah retires the first man. He faces here in the 7th. In the batter now,
It'll be the 9-hole Jackson Felker, who's 0 for 2 with a strikeout and a ground out to first.
Jonah Wolf got the start for the Wildcats, and Jonah was really good. He gave up a couple runs there late, and I think, as I said, his first start, varsity start on the mound for the Wildcats, I think he just ran out of gas. That's my personal opinion. The ball is bunted up to the third baseman, fielded by the Wildcats, and the Wildcats throw the ball away, and that is Max Derigi, and he's going to get all the way to third. The ball is way down. He might even come around. I don't even see the ball coming in. So that's an error by the Wildcat third baseman. Oak Ridge resting several people as they get ready for Farragut on Monday. And tried to field it, tried to throw on the run, but the throw went wild and went all the way down in the right field corner. And they've got a runner at third now with only 1 out, trying to get an insurance run.
Well, David, I think if Max even fields it, it makes a good throw. I almost wonder if he was safe. I think I might score a hit, and then you can honestly give maybe 2 errors, 1 to Max and 1 on the right fielder. I think the right fielder missed the ball because it got all the way down in the right field corner.
Yeah, I didn't see it. My view is blocked. I didn't see what happened. Isaiah's got to work out of a mess here. Once again, 3-1. The Wildcats trailing. Pitch, hit foul. Behind the plate. Fielded nicely by the guy on deck for the Patriots, who were wearing their red jerseys. Oak Ridge beat Jefferson County 8-2 earlier in the year. Patriots have slowed down the Wildcat Bats in this one. Only 1 run. And that was on a ground out by Mikey, I believe, scoring Andy Hudson. Pitch, hit foul, back to the screen. We will, I hope, have a post-game show with Coach Travis Free. We haven't been able to speak to him the last 3 ball games. The Greenville game, we were afraid that it was going to rain. And then last night it was just late. And Titus had to get his teddy bear and get to bed. There's a swinging strikeout, and that's out number 2. That's a big out right there for Isaiah Wilson.
Yeah, big strikeout with the man at third. And this will bring up the 2-hole. Should be Drew Moulter, who was the starting pitcher for Jefferson County. He is 1 for 3 and doubled back in the 6th inning, scored a run.
Patriots are putting a courtesy runner in at third. 3-1 our score. Wilson has been a starter primarily. Has seen some relief time. Has a couple wins as a starter for the Wildcats. Oak Ridge is pretty deep. This is another good sophomore. The sophomore class is really good. And ball is hit foul over to the right side and out of play. Isaiah, a big red-headed kid. Could play football, I guess. Has Isaiah ever played football, Oliver?
I think his 8th grade season, but I think he quit freshman year.
Here's the pitch. That's outside the ball. Kipton faked the throw down to third. The Wildcats have made some changes in the field. I know only 1 day to rest before the Farragut game on Monday. Like I said a moment ago, hopefully they've got a switch they can switch on because they've been at times flat in this tournament. That ball is hit to left field. Should be out number 3. And it is. I think that's Andy Hudson out in left field, and that is the 3rd out of the inning. So we come down to the bottom of the 7th here in Johnson City. The Wildcats trailing the Patriots 3-1. And we'll be back to Johnson City to see what the Wildcats can do. Will they rally or will they fall for the 3rd consecutive time? We'll be back to talk about it in a moment. Welcome back once again to Johnson City. The Wildcats have 3 outs to play with to get 2 runs at least to tie it. Try to get a win over the Patriots for the second time this year. They, as I mentioned, they beat them 8-2 the first time. It's the top of the order for the Wildcats. Leading things off will be Warren East. Warren's been on base painfully today.
Yeah, he has a couple hit by pitches. Took one off the butt cheek and the foot.
Right-handed hitting junior. The pitch, that's up high. Ball 1. 1 ball, no strikes. Warren headed to Youngstown State. I have trouble saying that. It doesn't really flow off my tongue real well. I get to the gung part of the young, and it doesn't come off good. There's a pitch outside corner for a called strike. Evens the count at 1 ball and 1 strike. That was well off the plate and maybe even low. 1 ball, 1 strike to Warren. The pitch, that's high and inside. 2 balls and 1 strike.
Yeah, Warren's reached base. Unfortunately, both times were hit by pitch. Brooks on deck has also been hit by pitch, so a couple bruises. Oak Ridge is going to walk away with a couple bruises.
2-1 pitch to Warren, hit on the ground. That's a base hit. It's a good start for Warren. Base hit to left field. And the Wildcats have the tying run coming to the plate in the person of Brooks Poteet. So Warren, good base stealer. You know, down 2 runs here in the 7th. We'll see how cautious Coach Free plays it, but he's aggressive. It doesn't matter the situation. He's a very aggressive guy. And we've hit a couple double plays and some force outs, so I know he would probably like to get away from that. Pitch to Brooks is a ball outside.
Yeah, and Brooks 1 for 1. He had a walk, and he's been hit by a pitch. Also had a single in the 3rd.
Poteet, a junior. Bats from the left side. Warren a short lead at first, not going the pitch. That's ball 2. Here we go with Mikey on deck, and you know, if we get Poteet on, then the winning run comes to the plate. And Mikey Teasley, who is signed to play at the University of Tennessee, but has had a very quiet weekend. Warren draws the throw at first, and easily back to the bag he goes. Kevin McKeithen is the first base coach. He played baseball and football at Oak Ridge, and freshman year, I think, played basketball for the Wildcats back in the day. Now a member of the Oak Ridge coaching staff, football and baseball. That's ball 3. Up high. And the Patriots behind the plate thought it was a good pitch. Brooks back in. Little butt wiggle as he steps back into the batter's box. 3 balls and no strikes to him. There's a called strike. That's a good-looking pitch. And the count is 3-1.
Yeah, the pitcher here, number 4, who was in the field earlier, they brought him in. This is number 4, Jackson Armandi. He was the first base. He's working awful quick here, David.
3 balls, 1 strike to Brooks Poteet. The pitch, that's ball 4. And your tying runs are on base with nobody out here in the 7th inning. And here comes, first up, a Tennessee signee and Mikey Teasley. Right behind him, a Vanderbilt commit and Joseph Webb. And these 2 guys have been very quiet in this tournament. Both of them have hit multiple home run games this week leading up to this game. And the Wildcats have the bases loaded. And these are the guys you want. They've just got to come through.
Yeah, today they are combined 0 for 5. Joe Webb walked back in the 4th.
Here's the pitch to Mikey. Hit in the air. First pitch, just a high fly ball out. The left fielder and the center fielder makes the catch. So Mikey flies out. And on the first pitch. And that's just not what we needed right there. For one, it needed to be a little bit more productive to get the runners over. But, you know, Mikey's so used to getting those big hits in big situations, but he has struggled mightily to do that. Now let's see what the Vanderbilt commit can do.
Yeah, Mikey 0 for 4 today. And one thing I noticed Warren, he's not going to tag up. I noticed he was, I guess, going to. But if that ball drops, Warren might be out at 3rd, so I noticed that.
Joseph takes a pitch high and tight. 1 ball, no strikes. Two on. Wildcats down 3-1 in the bottom of the 7th inning. Webb back in. 1 ball, no strikes to him. The pitch. He takes a strike at the knees. Takes a little hike around the turf area. Steps back in the box. You're right. He does pitch fast. Jonah Wolf did the same. He was very quick. 1 ball, 1 strike. Warren East, the runner at second. The pitch. Ball 2. Outside. Wildcats have Brooks Poteet at first base. They are the tying runs in a 3-1 ball game, but there is one out here in the 7th. Pitch to Joe. Ripped down the right field line. That ball is foul, just barely. Oh, it's fair. It looked very foul to me. And that would have cleared the bases and tied the game, but it is a foul ball just by inches down the right field line.
You know, it's just kind of how the weekend's been right now. That ball was a foot away from being fair, and it was a foot away from being a tie game.
Joe's got to be a good two-strike hitter. After hitting that, you would expect, and this is the way high school kids are, he'll swing as hard as he can right here. That's typically the way high school kids are. But he's, like I said, he's going to go to Vanderbilt eventually. He's only a junior. He's already committed to play for them. He's a solid starting pitcher for the Wildcats, as is Mikey Teasley. They're both probably projected to be pitchers. But Joe's a good hitter as well. He needs to be a hitter right here. That pitch bounced at the plate, and that is ball 3, I believe. So the count is full, 3 balls and 2 strikes. Wildcats have Carson Fagan on deck, and as Lee has said several times, Carson's been our hottest hitter this entire tournament.
Yeah, and the worst thing that would happen here would be a double play. You absolutely want Carson Fagan, just the way he's been swinging the bat. You definitely want to get Carson Fagan up. There's only one out, so obviously you want to avoid a disaster double play.
3 balls, 2 strikes. The pitch to Joe. Ball 4. The bases are loaded. So the Wildcats have the tying runs in scoring position. The winning run is at first base, and here comes Carson. Carson did not bat his last time, but has been on base and had 3 doubles yesterday.
Yeah, he has a single here today. He's 1 for 2. So this is kind of the right guy up at the right spot here. Bases loaded. We're going to get a mound visit. Only 1 out, so winning run at first.
And so we have a little delay once again. And once again, I can't say this enough, but we appreciate Laura Lynn Green with State Farm Insurance, the class of 1989. That's Chris Corwin. If you've ever been to Blankenship Field in Oak Ridge, the football facility, the class of 89 built that new pavilion with the picnic tables on the Kentucky Avenue side. That's the class of 89 paid for that. And you can see all the names of every member of that 1989 class on a plaque. And they're part of our broadcast. They've been with us throughout football, basketball, and baseball. We also appreciate Sexton Automotive of Oak Ridge. Elizabeth Beard, who been part of our broadcast, and the whole family of Sexton Automotive. They've been with us. In fact, I've gotten my last 3 vans at Sexton, and hopefully you'll get your next one at Sexton. Todd Fox and the Fox Insurance Group, East Tennessee Spine and Sport. Of course, Mike Kelly with Betsy Coleman Realty, and all of our other sponsors, family members such as the Fagan family. Are they watching today? Have we heard from the Fagan family in Amarillo? What's going on down in Texas to keep them from watching the game?
We haven't heard anything yet. Not really. Just Cy saying that we should stop at the Pals, and Mike Kelly agrees.
It is a Saturday morning, and we started early as the Wildcats trail it 3-1, but the bases are loaded. I'm going to put the mic down. We'll be back to see what Carson can do in a moment. Welcome back once again to Johnson City. The Wildcats trailing at 3-1, but have the bases loaded, and we've got another pitcher.
This will be the center fielder Brody Carr, the Vanderbilt commit. It's interesting. I don't know how they would use him in the midweek or in a district ball game. So he is going to come in here and try and close this one out. He's got the bases loaded with 1 out.
And the batter is Carson Fagan. As we mentioned, both Fagan brothers have hits today, and Carson has been really good this whole tournament, hitting the ball. He's been right on it, and he bats with the bases loaded. The tying run at second base. The go-ahead run at first in Joe Webb. Here's the pitch to Carson. Called a strike. Looked a little outside, but kind of is 1 ball and no strikes. He throws hard for sure. Carson can catch up to it. No balls and 1 strike. Here's the pitch to Carson. Cut on a miss. Didn't catch up to that one, and the count is 0-2.
Yeah, those are just some fastballs from the left side from Brody Carr. I'd say he's getting close to touching 90. He's definitely getting it in there.
Here is the 0-2 pitch to Carson. Hit on the ground, first base side, but foul. Swung late a little bit, but could have been a productive play as it went down the line. But Carson behind, no balls and 2 strikes. We're in Johnson City. Monday will be in Oak Ridge as the Wildcats take on the Farragut Admirals in a big district ball game. Carson Fagan back in, behind in the count 0-2. Pitch. Ball 1. Floats outside with a fastball, and you're right, he is throwing hard.
Yeah, he is, and as a hitter, it's one of those where you've just got to choke up the bat and just put a short little swing on it, just try and put it in play.
1-2 pitch. That's ball 2 outside. The Patriot faithful to our left thought it was strikeout number 1 for him, but it's a ball outside. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Carson Fagan. Camden Welch is on deck for the Wildcats. Carson needs to be a hitter. Chokes up just a little bit on the knob. Bases loaded. 2-strike pitch hit on the ground. First base side. Just foul again. A couple close plays. That might have been fielded by the first baseman. They would have had the out there. But that ball down the line by Joseph Webb would have tied the ball game with just inches foul. And that's the way this whole weekend has gone. Carson staying alive. 2 balls and 2 strikes to him. 3-1 the score. Here's the pitch. Called strike 3 on the outer half of the plate. Looked outside, but, Carson, no argument, and that's out number 2.
Yeah, tough pitch. Outside breaking ball that kind of cut into the zone right there at the last second. This will be Cam Welch, who's 0 for 2 with a walk. So 2 outs. Oak Ridge has already left 8 guys on in the ballgame so far. They only have 1 run to show for it. So right now they've got the bases loaded. So if they can't scratch a runoff, you're looking at about 11 guys at least going to be left on base.
Down to their final out here. Camden Welch is the batter. Lefty versus lefty. The pitch gets away. And, the Wildcats could have scored there. But, Warren, ball didn't bounce away too far. You don't want to be the third out at home plate. I understand. It's ball 1. 1 ball, no strikes. 3-1 our score. The Wildcats in danger of losing their 3rd straight ball game after only losing 2 all season. Cam can tie it with a base hit or more as he steps back in ahead in the count. 1 ball and no strikes. He's got some power. He's come up with some big hits in his career. He takes a strike, and the count is 1 ball and 1 strike. We'll have a post-game show afterwards, hopefully with Coach Free. I doubt we'll play or interview any players. Been a long weekend. 1-1 pitch. Ball. Oh, that looked low. But Cam behind in the count. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Got to be a 2-strike hitter. Guys throwing hard. That last pitch looked a little low, but we don't have the greatest angle on this side. Here's the pitch to Cam. And he hits it foul. Back to the screen, and the count remains at 1 ball and 2 strikes. Appreciate Titus Fetters and Oliver Poggle for doing our technical work today. And, of course, Lee Wexler's been with us the last 3 ball games. Caleb Jackson was with me in Greenville. Well, that ball game, Wildcats beat the defending state champions on Thursday, but have struggled here in the Tri-Cities area. Cam trying to change that right here. Takes a ball down low. They asked for help. He did not swing. And the count, I believe, is 2 balls and 2 strikes. Bases loaded. Joe Webb is the runner at first. Wildcats have Brooks Poteet at second. Warren East is at third. Wildcats down to their final out. Here's the pitch to Cam. Called strike 3, and he knew it. Couldn't pull the trigger on it, and the Wildcats have been defeated by the Jefferson County Patriots by a final score of 3-1. Cam Welch caught looking, and that is the third out, and that is the ball game. So the Wildcats do drop 3 consecutive games up here in the Tri-Cities area. Not a great momentum push into their game Monday with the Farragut Admirals. So the Wildcats are going to have to regroup quickly. They have 1 day of rest and then a ball game on Monday.
Yeah, it's going to be a quick turnaround. Obviously, they need to head home and kind of regroup and just kind of get their minds right on Farragut. You're going to have to just move on from this. Dropping 3 games. Obviously got, if you want to count Thursday in this, I guess, round-robin tournament, got off to a good start taking down the 3A state champions on Thursday in Greenville, but then did not follow up with really any strong performances in the 2 games yesterday or this one today. I hate to say they come out and didn't look ready to play, and, not too many strikeouts. I think they finished the day with only 5 strikeouts. They didn't strike out until the 6th inning. Over the weekend, as I got to watch, they put a lot of balls in play. They just found a lot of gloves, and they just couldn't get a timely hit. They just couldn't get nothing really fell or bounced their way, I guess you could say. So it's going to be a quick turnaround. I think might have a weather system move in. I think it's going to be a little chilly on Monday, but you've got the top team in the state coming up this week on the schedule. So, a tough finish to the week, but season's coming. Baseball season goes by so fast, and they've got a big 2 games with Farragut this week. They're going to obviously see some great arms this week, so hitters got to be ready to hit.
We're in Johnson City. We'll have our post-game show coming up. I'm going to put the mic down, or maybe let Lee, why don't you go ahead and kind of talk about the totals and kind of recap the whole weekend of all 3 ball games.
I'll go over this game right here for Oak Ridge against Jefferson County. Oak Ridge falls by a score of 3-1. The first 2 innings, Oak Ridge hitters would go down in order, and it was the 3rd inning where Oak Ridge started to threaten, had a pair of hits and a hit by pitch. They would load the bases in the 3rd inning. Unfortunately, would not scratch a run. The 4th inning saw a single, but then a double play. The 5th inning was where Oak Ridge would get their only run of the ball game. Kipton Fagan with a double in the 5th inning would come around to score. A couple hit by pitches. Oak Ridge would leave a few men on. The 6th inning saw a couple walks, but then 3 strikeouts. And then the 7th inning, Oak Ridge loaded the bases yet again for the 2nd time in the ball game. Had a single and ended up had a single and a walk, and actually 2 walks for that matter. Jefferson County would bring in their big stud Brody Carr to close out the game with 2 strikeouts there to close it out. And so Oak Ridge finishes the day offensively with 5 strikeouts. Oak Ridge, David, this is the I guess the bad stat, 11 guys left on base with only 1 run scored. And I'm looking at the totals here, and let's see, only 6 hits for the Oak Ridge offense. So 6 hits, 11 guys left on base, David, and 6 walks. So Jefferson County as a pitching staff issued 6 walks and 2 hit by pitches. So Jefferson County issued 8 total free 90s. That's 6 walks and 2 hit by pitches. Oak Ridge, they just couldn't get the timely hit. I know you also wanted me to kind of run down the weekend. Yesterday in the first ball game we saw against Dobbins-Bennett, similar story. Oak Ridge only scored 2 runs, didn't really get too many walks as an offense. Left, I want to say about 6 guys left on base and just couldn't get the timely hit. Saw a little bit more offense, mainly later in the game against Elder, but by that point, the pitching staff and the defense had issued 12 runs, and the final score was 12-9 last night against Elder. And then 3-2 via catcher's interference walk-off yesterday against Dobbins-Bennett. So Oak Ridge yesterday doubled their loss total and then follows it up with another disappointing outing today. They're swinging the bat. They were putting balls in play. They just couldn't get a break. They couldn't get a ball to land anywhere in the field. And the defenses they were facing against made plays. So unfortunately, they just couldn't anything to go their way. Untimely hitting. And, I think some of their better hitters had, I'll just say, a disappointing day yesterday and today. So that's kind of how it goes. Oak Ridge will have a quick turnaround. They're off tomorrow, and they'll be right back at it Monday and Wednesday against Farragut. David, I believe you will have the broadcast. I think I'm definitely going to try and tune in. Obviously, I'll head home. And hopefully, I don't know if I'll be back for a game, but hopefully you guys will head my way in late May. we were kind of talking off air. The weather this spring has been outstanding. The weather today has just been great. And I think maybe in March, I think there was a day or two where I think the weather dipped down below freezing. I think you guys had snow. I don't think we didn't have snow, but you guys had a snow day there in March. But really, the weather, this has been outstanding weather. And, of course, as soon as we say this, we're going to get in May. And, of course, you watch, it'll rain every single day in May, and it'll back up and clog up the tournaments. And I'm only seeing one extra team here, David. It looks like Jefferson County is going to play another game. There's this light blue team. I think I saw Hardin Valley shirts. So I guess that's Hardin Valley. It's going to play Jefferson County. So I believe, I don't know, you guys have already played Hardin Valley, but disappointing weekend.
Yeah, it was, but, that's the good thing about baseball. I wish we honestly had a little bit more than a day's rest. The guys have been up here since Thursday. With this tournament, and they only have 1 day of rest, and I would assume he'll probably give them off tomorrow or do maybe something light tomorrow, but I can't imagine. We've played a lot of ball as the Wildcats head to the final week of the regular season, and it's a big week. As Lee mentioned, we've got Farragut coming up Monday and Wednesday. The Wildcats 1 game behind Farragut in the district standings. I am waiting to speak to the head coach of the Wildcats, Coach Travis Free. We haven't talked to him. This is our 4th game since we've been up here, and I have yet to speak to him. Not because of him not wanting to come speak to me, just various reasons we haven't been able to do so. But we're going to have him over here in a few short moments. Yes, as I mentioned, Monday, the Admirals come to Bobby Hopkins Field there in Oak Ridge, Bobby Hopkins Park, as they say now. Of course, the baseball complex in Oak Ridge, and all Oak Ridge High School students will get in free for that ball game. We hope we have a ton of people, and I know we will. It's Oak Ridge and Farragut in baseball. Both teams have been to the state tournament the last several years. Farragut has won 4 consecutive state championships in baseball, and the Wildcats would love to get back to the state tournament, but there's a lot of baseball to be played in front of that. First, you start with the district, and the Wildcats will be hosting part of that tournament at Bobby Hopkins when the postseason begins. Farragut will be hosting the other half, and then depending on what happens in this series coming up Monday and Wednesday, whether the championships will be at Farragut or Oak Ridge, that'll be determined by whoever wins the regular season championship. We also, as Coach, not Dave Cam, I saw those guys moving the camera. They love Dave Cam as we wait for Coach Free to join us. But obviously you got to get out of the district, you got to get into the region, you got to get to the sectional, and you've got to get to the state tournament. So it's a long walk, but it's a fun walk, as we've seen the last couple of years when the Wildcats have made the state baseball tournament. I know, Lee, I guess when you were in school, your school, Murfreesboro Riverdale, was a state tournament caliber team. Didn't win the championship, but it's hard to do when you got these guys in blue and silver always looming around.
No, when I was there, I think my class was like one of the first class in 20 years that never made a state tournament in the 4 years we were there. Now, they made it the year after I was there, of course. But, yeah, expectations were high when I was there. And, obviously, it's a little different now the way the postseason is in baseball. It's a double elimination region format, and then the sectionals, a best of 2 out of 3, which to me is the way it should be. And it wasn't like that when I was in school. It was just the one-game playoffs. My roommate, my freshman year of college, was on the Jefferson County team in 2017 that went all the way to the state, ended up losing in the Final Four because they had beaten Farragut in that one-game playoff at Farragut in 2017. So Logan Flynn was his name. He was a member of the 2017 state team. And but yeah, baseball, it's one of those where pitching can kind of take you as far as pitching can really carry you. And so obviously Oak Ridge will have their studs ready to go. And obviously Farragut, I don't know too much about them, but obviously you're going to see top arms when you play Farragut. So, and obviously it probably won't be the last time they see Farragut. Obviously you would expect to maybe see them in the tournament, maybe the region tournament as well. And Farragut's just a team, they expect to be in the state title. They expect to win every single year. It doesn't matter who they have on their team. So, yeah, again, a tough way to finish the week, and quick turnaround hopefully you don't want to spend too much time, sobbing about the weekend, but you want to figure out what you were doing wrong, and obviously make any kind of adjustments at the plate. And hitters probably need to be in the cages, need to do something tomorrow. They probably won't take the day off, or at least I wouldn't. I would probably definitely be in the cages tomorrow. I probably wouldn't throw. I probably wouldn't do too much, but I would definitely get in the cages and swing tomorrow if I was a player. So.
Still waiting for Coach Free. I see the players have emerged a little bit to our right. I see Joseph. I see Warren and Brooks. They're all milling around. So that means Coach Free will probably be joining us here in a few short moments. We won't hang. Well, we have some time here. It's not like it's 11 o'clock at night as we've been the last several nights. But my guys are packing up the multi-cameras right now. So we'll have a quick exit, then head down I-70, I guess it's I-81 first, and then 40 and 75, and back to Oak Ridge and get ready for that Monday ball game with the Farragut Admirals. I don't see Coach Free anywhere. I think Preston kind of went over to remind him to come over. He might or might not want to talk. In the games we played the last 2 days, the 3 games, our top 3 pitchers did not pitch. But that's one thing. But what honestly kind of concerns me a little bit more is not the pitching. Actually, we got a great starting performance today from Jonah Wolf. And Brendan Payne pitched great against Dobbins Bennett as a starter. Jackson had a little trouble yesterday in the start of the Elder game. It's been the bats, actually. The guys we count on, the guys that have been the mainstays all season, driving in our runs. The top 2 RBI guys, top 2 and 3 guys in home runs, just not hitting the ball real well. But as you said, we've put the ball in play, but unfortunately, sometimes the way baseball goes, they found gloves, and the bats are what kind of concern me. Not as much maybe because they haven't been striking out much, but the fact they haven't been scoring the runs they normally do.
Yeah, and I see Coach Free walking over here, but one thing I've noticed, yesterday in the Dobbins-Bennett game and here today were lefties. Oak Ridge did struggle hitting against lefties, and then they brought in Brody Carr, another lefty. So Oak Ridge, I noticed the bats did struggle against lefties. As I see Coach Free walking up here, and David, I'll let you and Coach Free talk.
Yeah, Coach Travis Free, will get the camera on him. You all stay fairly kind of close. You know me, I don't like to be on camera. Right there's fine. Coach Travis Free has joined us here. Coach, kind of a disappointing weekend up here. You started out strong. We haven't talked because of the weather in Greenville. You got a good win over the defending state champions in Greenville. Got some great starting pitching in that ball game. Braylon's pitched well in the Dobbins-Bennett game. Jonah was really good today till he ran out of gas. Jackson not as well, but you got some good innings. You scored some runs, but just weren't able to get the big hits when you needed it. Your big guys didn't really get the big hits that we expect them. You didn't strike out much, so you got to feel kind of good about that, but you just could not get the hits when you needed them.
Yeah. I mean, really, if you go the whole weekend, it's about 2 things. One, we made too many mistakes on the bases that we got to clean up, and we never got the big hit. We had runners in scoring position the last 3 days over and over and over, and just never really got that big hit. That's just, I don't know, a little bit of it is I'm trying to manage a little bit of overall physical health. I think that they're a little fatigued. I think that the weather being hot and as many games as we played here down the stretch. So I think that has a little bit to do with our barrels being a little slow. Just got to kind of get ourselves together, get a little bit. But you're right, a couple things. Cheeto was really good on Thursday. Excellent job there. We pitched it really good in that game against Greenville. We pitched it really good against Dobbins-Bennett yesterday. Braylon was really good again. Unfortunate call to kind of put that against us a little bit, which is not there, and it kind of put us in a little bit of a tailspin. And then from there we had the nightcap and then the early morning, which are hard things to manage as a coach and manage as a team, especially when you get beat on a call that was, just a phantom call that wasn't right or good, but, got to live and go. And I just told the team, we have to leave it here and have to be able to get ourselves together and be able to execute come Monday night.
I was going to ask you about that, and you said phantom call. It was the catcher's interference. You had back-to-back calls there, and that lost the game. I asked Parker about that, and he said it didn't happen. And you had a good view of it as well.
It definitely didn't happen. The first one did happen. He was super deep in the box on the backside of the white line. Parker extended to reach up. His swing a little long. The first one did. The second one was nowhere close. Parker backed up. It was not a call whatsoever. You hate for a game that's 2-2 in extra innings and both teams pitching and playing a good game to end on that. But that, whatever. That's part of it, and in the grand scheme of things, it's all about what happens in the next coming days. So being able to, snap and clear, as they used to say, whatever, just leave it and move forward. And we will do that. We'll be ready to go on Monday.
I want to ask you about this. Are these guys the kind of team that can just flip a switch and get it going? I know the switch doesn't have to be flipped too high because it's Farragut on Monday and Wednesday.
I don't know necessarily it's flip a switch. I think it honestly is just about the postseason coming. And, if you look at the last 2 weeks of our season, like offensively, we've not clicked throughout our lineup. At some point, that's got to turn. I would be more worried, honestly, if we had been hitting and just constantly getting hit after hit in big moments. That, then when it gets late, are we going to expect to do that? So I think it'll give us a little bit of an edge as the postseason is right around the corner. But it's still, it's a little frustrating. But I think a little bit of it is physical fatigue, being able to manage ourselves and manage our health and be able to get the right swing off at the right time.
One guy I thought was very productive the entire weekend was Carson. Carson Fagan hit the ball, and he might be the one guy that stood out to me.
Yeah, 100%. I told him that last night, which is a cool story from him. Instead of yesterday, he went back home on Thursday night after Greenville, but instead of sleeping in or whatever, he got up, he went and did some community service over at a local elementary school, worked with some kids. And, he was kind of in a little tight funk a little bit, like hitting a bunch of pop-ups, not striking out, but just hitting some pop-ups. He went and did something positive. In return, he's had a very productive last 3 days. He really has. He's had a really, really good job. And, Jeff County is the number one team in District 2. They are going to win that district. They're going to advance from there. They're going to play in a regional. And it took two of their top two arms to beat us. And, that's just part of it. Everybody that we place, we keep seeing their best. And so I appreciate that. And it makes us better down the stretch.
Quick scouting report on Farragut, and I'll let you go.
Farragut offensively is really, really strong, has a bunch of returning guys. They returned 7 of their 9 hitters from last year. They lost their top couple arms, so they've been relying on a couple seniors to come and fill that. So Travis Brummett is going to probably start on Monday would be our anticipation. They've been going to him on Monday the whole year, so we anticipate that at Oak Ridge. Offensively really good. Our matchup pitching-wise is really good against them, and it'll be a great environment and a great situation to go out there and really prove that, we can perform at a very high level. So I look forward to it, and it's going to be a great matchup, and it's a great opportunity to be out there on 6:30 at Oak Ridge. It'll be one of the coolest baseball weeks that we've had in a long time at Oak Ridge, so it's going to be really, really fun.
Coach, thanks a lot.
Yep, thank you all.
Coach Travis Free, head coach of the Wildcats. That about does it here. The Wildcats fall to Jefferson County 3-1. That wraps up our coverage of this tournament. It didn't go the Wildcats' way, but as you can tell, Coach Free is still pretty upbeat about as we move forward. The Wildcats have Farragut on Monday, and it should be a great environment, and we will have the broadcast beginning at 6:30. That about does it. We appreciate Oliver Poggle, Preston Fetters, and Lee Wexler. Well, Lee, do you have any final comments before we close it out?
Unfortunately, probably not too many great comments when you go for 3, at least for the games we were here to do. But, obviously Oak Ridge, they're probably going to be a team where pitching is going to carry them. And, pitching, you're only as good as your next day starter, right? So, obviously, I'm looking forward to watching these broadcasts this week that you guys are going to do. Obviously, I'll head back home. But, Oak Ridge is a team I'll put the expectations on you right now. I expect Oak Ridge to be right back in Murfreesboro at the end of May competing for a state title. I think I don't know if they'll take a dip in the rankings for the coaches' rankings I saw this week, but it's a team I expect to compete in the region, the district tournament, sectionals, and back in Murfreesboro to compete for another state title.
Thanks for your help today. Oliver, thanks for your help.
Thank you, David. I had a real great time with you guys, so just thank you.
Thanks for bringing me on the trip. Happy to be back. I haven't filmed in a little bit.
That's Preston and Oliver. Final score, the Wildcats dropped this one to Jefferson County 3-1 until Monday when the Wildcats take on the Farragut Admirals. This is David Clary saying so long, everybody.